know, a lot of explosive, dangerous young men and women as well. And people need to look out.
Well, even here at the European Open, one of the emerging countries in terms of not real pedigree in terms of medals, but they're exciting everyone here, is Spain. The Spanish are really exciting everyone here in the cages. They've got a really exciting young team here.
They're having a good tournament. And we're back in now with Russia versus Estonia. And again, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say we're going to have a pretty comfortable and confident wrestling game from blue corner from Russia.
Yes, we remain in the welterweight division, and we've got Evgeny Morozov from Russia, and Mark, in junior competition, which we had earlier in the morning, Russia are the #1 country, and you and I were both at the Worlds, and they were so strong there. Bahrain must be looking over their shoulder at Russia for that #1 position, junior and senior. They're so strong at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, by volume alone, you know that they're a huge country in terms of population and land mass, and obviously wrestling, it's a core sport. And the same in America, you know, it's no surprise that that's where some of the striking-based countries, when they move into MMA for the first time as well, they'll come on short. But here's the thing, you know, these young kids, these young athletes now, I saw the sport change more in the last 3 to 4 years than it has the last 20 combined, because these are young kids now, and they're learning mixed martial arts from the start. They're not coming from a grounded discipline, so they're not having to learn, you know, to get out of the bad habits of wrestling, get out of the bad habits of judo or boxing. They're young, explosive athletes learning every facet from the get-go, and it's amazing to see.
Well, in this welterweight bout, as we said, we've got Evgeny Morozov from Russia in the blue, Sergey Strinza, Estonia, in the red.
Nice push.
Right hand counter, yeah, he's very sharp, Morozov.
Beautiful single.
And again, it's that timing that's impressed me during the day, Mark, the timing of certain athletes here.
It is, and no surprise there. Who was on the outside? Red corner. Who got taken down? Red corner.
Well, it was earlier in the day. In my cage, obviously, was Delian Georgiev. And there's a man whose timing is impeccable, and he never goes for the takedown. He waits for the counter. He lets you throw, and then it's safe. And he takes you to the ground almost at will, whether you've thrown a punch or a kick. And his timing was just impeccable.
Absolutely, and you know, I've always said it. I've maintained it for years. Crotch
beautiful. Mark!
And this is what I'm talking about with a takedown, Mark. And this is what I want to see. I have amplitude on that takedown. I don't just bundle you. I pick you up, I bring you down with impact, and look where I've landed. I'm not in guard or half guard. I'm in a more dominant, dangerous side control position. That's value, and that's impact and effectiveness that a judge is going to reward.
And he's immediately got his knee across his belly as well,
looking to
Mark.
slide into mount.
Yeah. And that was superbly done. And it's everything we've been talking about. It's lovely when you get the illustration, and so excited, as Mark said, into mount. And again, we talk about dominance. Morozov and we talked about the Russians. Morozov here showing exactly why we're feeling that way.
Going to look to climb into a high mount or get posture. You've got to be careful, because red corner's going to look to get parallel with the fence. He'll have something to walk up then and aid his reversal and push off. He's actually gone north to south to the cage. He's in a more dangerous position now. And see, this is all the instinct. He's holding onto the head. He's holding onto the body. He's actually helping. He's maintaining that mount. He wants to be looking to let go, buck, shrimp, push one leg down, get to at least a half guard position, then look to better close guard or sweep.
As it is the moment, Morozov is happily sat there and he postures up, which we're waiting for. And starts with the left and rights coming in.
Hips down, grapevine in the legs, very difficult position to get out of. It's sapping, passes back into a mount. Might be looking to isolate that left arm.
And again, as we also alluded to earlier, alongside everything else, Morozov is in total control. and totally safe as well. No damage. I've seen damage earlier in the day where the winning fight has gone through, and yet he's going to have to carry that damage with him. Morozov here, when we look with this last 10 seconds, I mean, look at him. It's total control.
Again, it's a comfortable position, but Red, you know, it does go against everything. When you're in a mounted position, you want to be safe. You may want to buck and keep your opponent down to you, but it's counterproductive to what you want to be doing.
But in a way, it's human instincts. He's pulling Morozov in because he's worried those strikes when he postures up in the mount, so he's pulling him in tight, and as you said, it's a catch-22 for him.
It does kind of go against instinct, but obviously if you're holding and pulling, and then you see what Morozov done is he just put his hips low, grapevine the legs. He's not going anywhere at that point. It's more sapping for you. You've got to, this is the adage of taking one to give one. Let go, let him sit up. When he sits up,
you can buck.
That's your counter. Yeah. That's your counter to look to snake and get out, not give the back.
But as it was, Strinzer allowed Morozov. He really pushed his whole weight into him. He took the whole weight of Morozov there for a long period of that round, Mark.
And then what you're doing then is you're pushing the hips down, you're grapevining, you're pushing in, you're closing the diaphragm, you're making it even harder to breathe. All the things that people on the outside just don't see. It's a small tactic, and it's a killer.
Well, Sergey Strinzer knows what he's up against now with that slam, and
got to get in the middle. See again that nice push kick, that teep. He's got to stay in the middle. He's backing off. Stay in that middle, and he's going to allow himself more space to sprawl.
Well, this is what we're on about as well with the Russians. Morozov there with a high roundhouse kick. Their stand-up is good, but they use it for a reason. He's
almost walking him down now. Oh, there we go. Overhand right, clinch position, takedown.
And it was a very simple takedown, Mark, and very easily achieved. I mean, to his credit, Strinzer is back upright, but like we saw in the previous bout, when you get one so dominant, he's doing what he wants with the little
inside.
Trick.
He's not getting back up for the rest of this round. He's not getting back up. Opting to close guard and hold him down. Maybe looking for a little bit of assistance from the referee.
And it's torrid times when that happens to you, because when you need it most, as you said, you're being sapped, your energy's down, you're in an awful position, and that's when you need to be having to be able to do something. It's so frustrating to just be unable to do that, because Evgeny Morozov is just in total control, Mark.
He is now. Look, the guard's open.
And again, we must stress at welterweight, you're talking big, strong men.
They are strong men. You know, that guard's open, whether his corner's telling him or not. He should be looking to pass and advance into a half guard position at least now. He is beating him up a little bit from inside the guard. As soon as that head comes up, that's the thing, you know, distance. When the heads separate, that's your posture, that's your power, that's your leverage. Guard's wide open, waiting to be passed.
But again, when you say that, he's operating within his comfort zone, isn't he? So I imagine he feels at this moment he's got so many options.
He is, and he's doing enough there. You know, he is opting to strike, and I did predict when he took him down that he was not getting back up. Let's see if I'm true in that position. There you go, past the half guard. He's going to pass the side control. It's almost like I've saw it before. And again, he's holding on to him. He's almost red corner's trying to turn in. Knee on belly.
And now here he goes.
Past the full mount. And again, it's almost like a rookie mistake. Head and arm triangle coming up here. He may pass to his left side to get the torque on that. He's doing well to defend at the moment.
But that's the problem. He's been in defensive mode since the opening round, and a tournament situation, it doesn't matter how you lose, you're going out. And he has been forced into defensive mode the whole time, Sergey Strinzer.
Yeah, Morozov content to stay in mount there. It's quite difficult to both secure and certainly finish an arm triangle from the mounted position, but he was against the fence. He couldn't pass to his left.
But the thing is, when you're in that position, you're in a no-lose rather than no-win situation. You either get the submission, but if not, everybody here at ringside, including cage-side, including your judges, you're in dominant position. You're in total control. So in that respect, he can't lose in that round, can he?
Yeah, all he had to do was maintain position, do enough work to satisfy the referee, and he's going to be left there to do what he wants to do.
Now, Sergey Strinza, he's got 1 round left. We saw hints. We saw a very good teep. We saw a nice spinning side kick. What can he do in round 3, Mark? Maybe he's got to keep it upright and hope for a striking victory. This is a small cage. Cage 1, yes.
And against, like I said, dominant wrestler, everything is about making him think twice. If I can't sting him on the way in, I need to give myself a second option. And what's that second option? As much space behind me and the cage as possible. And what does that mean? It means getting the middle and keeping him to fear. I've got to give him something to think about when he's closing that distance. And at the moment, Morozov is actually walking him down, throws an overhand, clinches, and it's all she wrote.
And do you know what? I've just got a strange feeling we're going to see exactly the same
here
in the third mark.
Sharp right hand.
It's going to happen again. That side kick.
He needs to keep that middle. He needs to. There you go. That's more what we want. And he's moving back again. You've got to circle and move back into the middle. Overhand right's coming.
And Morozov again is showing, as I said, just how good the Russians are upright. He's comfortable in that pocket with him because that's what he's happier there in the pocket. And here we go.
Almost better. He did pivot out there. He did think about it. He did try, but he caught the single leg. He's down again, and I hate to say it, but I think he's going to struggle to get back up.
Well, this is the problem for him because as we saw there, even when he took a couple of shots, Morozov, like a lot of these top wrestlers, is happy in the pocket where you think he wouldn't really want to be for the upright striking. But you saw there, slipping, sliding, ducking, they've got it. And then they go down for what they want.
100%. And Strinza, you know, he looked comfortable on his feet as well. Sharp striker, good striker, rangy, all pivoting out as well, showing a lot of motion, but you've got to hurt these people standing.
Exactly, because as you said, these are all things to make Morozov think, but he didn't have to. He was happy to stay in there with him. He took a couple of shots, he moved from the rest, and now it's deja vu from round 1. We know, he's going to go from the side control. We knew the mount was coming after the side control, and this is game over, really, for Strinza.
Strinza's making fundamental errors there and giving up that mount. Why? Because he's holding on to that reverse seatbelt, head and arm position, holding him down. When I'm holding him down, I can't see my hips. I don't know where they are. And he stepped over nicely into mount. And like I said, I think he's just going to take his time here.
Well, he doesn't. As I said, we mentioned earlier about decisions and choices, making right or wrong ones. Well, here, if he decides to just see it out, Morozov will be right this time. If he's thinking, right, damage limitation, now I've got this in the bag, you would agree with him.
Yeah, and there's that great. He's just interchanging. Look, he's almost getting to an S mount there, which means he could be isolating an arm, looking for an arm lock. Back down again into those grapevines. The hips are down. He's pushing the air out of him. Very comfortable position.
And time is running out.
Looking for the arm triangle. Again, now what he wants to do is step. There you go. Stepped off to his left-hand side. Strinza done well to pull that back into a half guard and eliminate that there. His elbow's down. Now he's in no trouble.
Except for the fact that he's going to lose the bag.
Except for the fight he's going to lose, yeah.
And
the submission back to a mount again, positioning. He's having his way with him here on the mat. And
here's the last 10 seconds, Mark. And it's been, you mentioned before about the Russians, and really this bout has emphasised that point about their strength, their wrestling. That was a masterclass in how to subdue someone. And when you see Morozov get up, there won't be a mark on him either, despite the fact that we both alluded to the fact that Strinza showed he was a good striker, and yet look at Morozov.
Much sharper striker, much more rangy, much more variance, but he couldn't land, he couldn't make it count. Morozov at this point in the competition, the only thing he would have to concern himself with is conditioning. Can he rehydrate, good nutrition, good night's rest, don't take any damage, and he's fit as a fiddle to carry on in the competition.
Well, we know he's going through, but it's fun as well, because we mentioned before, we commentated on Galanov, who's also Galanov, sorry, is in the lightweight. Gitinov, I was on about from Bahrain. Mm-hmm. If these two meet, that could be a setup with the speed and mobility of Gitinov, and that equal sort of like impression on the ground. That could be a really good matchup. He's already put his hand up. He knows.
No surprise there.
No.
I quite like it here, Mal.